Hello and welcome to Tarot by the Moon. Tasha here at Tarot by the Moon. Hi everyone, it's Tasha. Thank you so much to everyone after the full moon in Pisces harvest moon reading. So glad you all enjoyed it. Thank you all for the feedback, shares, likes and good positive energy that I've shared with so many of you both that night and throughout the week since, last couple of days since. So it's just sort of feels like a sort of a come down feeling from the full moon energy, if I can explain it like that. This is my sort of favourite phase of the moon personally, being Cancerian, because it's sort of it's a release. It feels like everything's just a little bit easier now over the next week or so. So I hope you had a magical time. I hope that you are seeing evidence of your manifestations, and if not, just understand that your manifestations definitely well on the way. We've got Mercury in a semi-sextile with Venus today, I believe, and the moon has actually entered Aries and has been in Aries for a day or two. So although we're in a Mercury retrograde, because there's an aspect with Venus there today, communication should go very well, okay, if you go carefully. Working, communications, getting things organised, getting chats done that need to happen or whatever, could go very well today, so long as you're careful, and any problems that do come up, do meet them head on at this time. Head on, but in a gentle way. It should come quite naturally with that kind of energy about, okay, so it's a bit of diplomacy in the air, I want to say. So this is our Starseed reading. This is the third Starseed reading that we've done. So this is the one following up the Pisces full moon energy. A lot of you will have had a lot of psychic downloads, psychic experiences, spooky stuff, and all of that kind of thing. A lot of you will have been feeling like certain emotional issues or emotional journeys that you're on in your life have now come to a crisis, and that you can now actually see clearly what's what and how you're going forward with any of that. Okay, it might be about accepting your own emotional needs as well and having a cleanse with all of that. So I do recommend, as the week goes on, you continue to be gentle with yourself and just slowly start to come out of that energy. Any sort of cleansing's a good idea right now, so like drinking lots of water, eating cleansing foods, drinking cleansing drinks. Avoid have a fine one to talk about, because I sang quite a few gins myself the other night, but not too many, but all things in moderation, and even that is a very cleansing agent anyway. The juniper berry is very cleansing, balancing. So just be aware of what you're putting in your body as well at the full moon or near the full moon, because it does have double the effect. Okay, so we're still in a fairly fat moon, so be careful of that. Bit of wisdom is to sort of, if you're going to try and cut down on eating, drinking, smoking or anything else like that, sugar or anything else like that you're putting in your body, the full moon's a good time to just have a day of refraining from that if you can fast. If not, if you can just cut back dramatically on any of those things. If you do it on a full moon and a new moon, they say you'll never ever need to diet. I'll leave that open for argument, but I certainly find it comes quite naturally and quite healthy to sort of around about the full moon. There's always a day where I just have that day where you just don't want to eat much, but you're okay, but you're absolutely fine. It's not that there's anything wrong or anything, you just, yeah, and then you sort of have the day after where you eat quite light, or you crave sort of healthy foods and things like that. So try and go with that, because it's a very natural process at around about the time of a full moon. And if you're not in that sort of a rhythm, then don't worry about it, but do bear in mind that anything you put in your body has double the effect. So you can hold on to calories more. You can, if you put sugar in, it's going to have double the toxic effect. If you put alcohol in, it's going to have double the toxic effect. If you put something in that's very cleansing for you and very healthy for you, like turmeric and fresh vegetables and things like that, then that's going to have double the medicinal effect at the same time. I feel like I needed to say that. It's a good time for detox after Pisces full moon. I really feel that quite strongly. So maybe many of you have been looking at those sorts of things. Making sure we get plenty of rest as well, okay? Because the full moon is known to disturb people's sleep patterns and cause a lot of dreams and different sorts of energies like that to come into your sphere. So do make sure you're getting plenty of sleep this week, coming down from that full moon. even if it's just extra half hour, going to bed a little bit earlier, turning your appliances off a little bit earlier, saying no to chatting to people till very late, and things like that, okay? Make sure you get in your rest. And any cleansing activities at all that you can do, like walking, moving your body, dancing, your yoga. If you're not into any of those things, simply just being outside and enjoying the fresh air, and appreciating the fresh air, and appreciating life. Mr. Milo, what do you say about it? He says he's going to have his bath after this, and he knows he's going to have his bath after this. He's actually the best dog in the world to bath that I've ever had a bath. He absolutely loves it. He's looking at me as if to say, you've been saying that all day. But we have been busy, haven't we, Baba? Yeah. I'm going to go in, my love. So this is the Starseed reading. So thank you once again. Please hit the like, please hit the share, please leave me a comment in the box below. Love to hear from you all. Please don't give anyone any money that's pretending to be me. If anyone's approached you for a reading over the internet, that won't be me. I don't do that. You will need to get in touch with me to arrange any personal readings or help that I can give you. And all that being said, let's go in, my loves. Excuse me a minute. Mr. Milo. Mr. Milo. Mr. Milo. Mr. Milo. Mr. Milo. We just want some attention, don't we? Because we've been for a long walk, and normally after a long walk we have a cuddle, and we haven't had a cuddle. Oh. Right. Let's call in highest vibration of love and only love into this reading today. For everyone involved in this reading, for everyone who shares this beautiful planet with us, for the planet itself, for Mother Gaia, for all of the human inhabitants here, for all of the dogs, cats, all of the creatures, all of the diversity of species that share this beautiful planet with us in all their spheres, all of the plant life and animal life that surely are our teachers and guides, all of the celestial beings and the interdimensional beings and the ancestors and the star ancestors and the spirit world that may be overseeing this reading. Nothing but the highest vibration of love, respect, gratitude, compassion, and so it is. Okay, my darlings, Starseed reading. So what we do 3 cards. You don't need to be any particular star sign. Thank you for coming into my reading and welcome. If you've come into this reading, you can consider it a protection and a healing. What we do, we look at what you'd expect. We take 3 cards, only the flippers and the fallers. Sometimes 4, whatever comes out. Right, there's 3 there. And that's going to be our spare one, right? Sometimes the spare one comes out. So what we do 3 cards. One's our expected life, okay, our 3D life. One's our soul mission, okay, our hero's journey, our 5D life. And this one is the bridge. This is how we're going to bring it all together. This is how we're integrating it, okay? Like I say, sometimes a spare card comes up for consideration. It did again today. So we'll have a look at that at the end. Okay, my loves, let's have a look what's coming up for us. Okay. Oh, beautiful. These are not actually read in the reverse, so if they come up in reverse, that's just because they've got turned around somehow. So let's have a little look. Lifting the veil, questioning everything, anything unaligned must go. I've never looked at this one before. Still, as I say to you guys, in case you've not watched this reading before, this is still a fairly new oracle set for me. So I got it to explore with you, so as we can share and learn together. After I had my Starseed origin reading, and yeah, it just blew me away, and now I can sort of see how this all is. So I've got this oracle set to explore you guys, so as we can learn about this stuff together. Lifting the Veil. This is a fabulous oracle set by Rebecca Campbell, with artwork by Danielle Noel. Okay. Questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. Now this is what's expected of us. Okay. Now let's have a little look at what it says. Lifting the veil. Anything unaligned must go. Release. Release, with the moon going out now, with the it's perfect. It says things aren't always as they seem. This era is one of uncovering mistruths so we can remember ancient truths. I'm all for that, because I know many of you are. Everything is in a state of recall and realignment. Anything that isn't in harmony with the planet will not survive. Okay, we've been talking about that for weeks, okay? And that's why a lot of us feel like everything's in limbo and up in the air. Because it is. Because it is. If you feel like that, then you're on the right track. This goes for society and the world at large, as well as in our own lives. We say that every week here, okay? If you pull this card, you're being called to energetically scan your life for the things that may no longer be a vibrational match for who you are and how you've grown. To dismantle the systems and ways of being that once served you and others but no longer do. That could be anything, but I feel like it's quite deep stuff, yeah. Some starseeds are here to lift the veil between the seen and unseen worlds, to shine a light on things that are inauthentic or unaligned with the survival of the well-being of Earth, to stand for and protect those who don't have a voice, to look deeper and question everything that previous generations did not. There's been a lot of that in our generation, that's for sure. Some starseeds cannot tolerate things that aren't congruent. Some starseeds cannot tolerate things that aren't congruent. They're here to bring society and humanity back into harmony with the planet and the Creator at large. If we tolerate things in our life that aren't aligned and congruent with it, we add to the misalignment of the planet. You're being called to trust yourself, notice what's out of alignment, and then take the baby steps required to bring it back into harmony. This is no easy feat, but it's so worthwhile, both individually and for the planet. So what isn't congruent in your life? I suppose congruence means harmonious. I suppose I should actually look up the actual meaning of that word, because that is a word you don't use every day, but just in context of the whole sentence there, it surely means to bring things into harmony. So what isn't harmonious in your life? How are you being called to bring, there we are, to bring it back into harmony, it says at the end, so it's probably just another word for harmonising. But do let me know if you've got any, congruent. Let's have a look at that after and let me know. So this is what I mean. This is the expected life. The expected life is that we're going to carry on taking the same CRAP, is what I want to say. We're going to carry on. Oh yeah, light workers are chipping away, but like I said last week, people have got this very heavy energy and it's nothing's ever going to change. You're too idealistic. Well, that's just the way it is. Well, that's just the way it's always been. I feel like a lot of that is to do with the way the divine feminine and divine masculine view each other, and all of the fear that's involved in that. Also, war, differences that are not really differences, and conflict. There'll always be conflict. There'll always be war. That's just the way men are. That's just the way women are. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're up against as starseeds and light workers and witches and whatever else you identify as, healers of the world. We're on a mission here, okay? And we have to do it, as it says, in baby steps. We have to do it without letting it get to us. We have to do it without ego. We have to get it right. We're still in Virgo season, so it's still all about learning to get it right, okay? Without taking things too seriously. I know. Perfectionism is a deadly disease and all of that, while still enjoying the human experience. Sorry, I love the energy's coming up there. Okay, but that's what's expected, right? This is where we're at. We had this one the other week, so the blue flame. So we had this one in the first one we did, actually, I think. Spontaneous awakening, activation and integration time, because I spoke to you about my interdimensional spirit experience with a being a blue flame, or it was certainly a blue skinned being, which I believe, if it's, it's pretty much blue flame. So we had that. So this is what our soul mission is. So let's have another look at that, okay? And we absolutely loved it. I remember we were like, wow, the blue flame, man. Right, the blue flame. This is about spontaneous awakening, which a lot of people are going through. Activation and integration time. So this is our soul mission. This is a card of awakening and energetic upgrades. Perhaps you're going through a period of spontaneous awakening, receiving visions and having experiences that are out of the ordinary. I just said that in the preamble, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's amped up or a few more of you have started experiencing things like that after this particular Pisces full moon. It says, in the West, little is known about the process of spontaneous awakening, and it can feel very scary when you're going through it alone. Elsewhere, they can be seen as auspicious experiences, with those going through them being treated with tender care. As I said to you at the preamble, please be gentle with yourselves, please do lots of cleansing activities, etc. The blue beings are thought to be activating beings with great potential for healing and upgrading our cellular structures. It's very interesting. They appear in moments of extreme awakening, activating a physical Kundalini awakening and deep cellular and DNA healing. We're being upgraded, my loves. We are being upgraded. We are receiving the light codes. We are being, the whole planet, along with every human being on this planet, is being upgraded to actually have our light bodies activated, and this is a big part of it. Many people glamorise the awakening process. However, in reality, it's much messier and more difficult than most of us believe. We must first let go of what we think we know for sure and how we make sense of the world. This isn't easy. The awakening process, even when it's spontaneous, takes a considerable amount of time to integrate. And awakening without integration can leave us feeling very ungrounded. If you're in the midst of an awakening process, the process never ends, by the way, treat this time as deeply sacred and give yourself ample space, to ground and integrate the extreme changes that you are going through. Okay? If you'd like to do this activation with me, there's a Starseed activation here. So it says to put that card on your heart, but if you simply put your hand on your heart, and we'll do three belly breaths together, okay? So breathe in and allow your belly to fill up to around about the count of 8 in your mind, okay? Hold the breath. Exhale, push it out to your belly. Long and slow. 3 times, and again. And one more time, just fill the belly up slowly. Hold. Release. Okay, my loves, it says, I allow myself to surrender to the awakening process that's right for me. I take things slowly and integrate my experience each and every day. Okay, I'll read it again. I allow myself to surrender to the awakening process that's right for me. I take things slowly and integrate my experience each and every day. It's very interesting because this area, this card here, is to represent how we're integrating the 5D experience into the everyday life. So I think that says it all. What I've just read out, that is absolutely perfect. The next one we got was All Past Dome. I love this one, All Past Dome. It's one of the first ones that I worked with in there. And ever since I've seen it, that just sticks in my mind, All Past Dome. So that can apply to so many things, and I hope you're going to get the message of it to land with you too, and get maybe even different insights and uploads. So for instance, when we're stuck in endless decision making, okay, when we can't decide which way to go or what's the best thing to do, and I get a lot of this being a tarot reader, because people want their answers to what's the best thing to do, and the truth is, it's all going to be okay, whatever you do, and it's all going to have challenges, whatever you do, because all paths lead home. It's just how we get there. I hope that makes sense. Same with soulmate and twin flame journeys. You can't really mess it up, because all paths will lead home. Eventually, all paths will lead you back to each other. So it's a strong message, and it's how we're going to bridge these two together. So we're exposing anything that's not in alignment with the new world we're trying to create, okay? And we're carefully dismantling it, one breath at a time, baby steps, all right? Because we're bringing in this awakening, and a lot of people will be awakening right now. A lot of people won't know what the heck is it in them, because like I say, if they're not part of used to spiritual practices, or part of a culture that respects those kinds of things, which an awful lot of people, especially in the West, are not, they are going to need people like you and I around to gently, shine a light, support them, encourage them to go slow, encourage them to hydrate, be gentle and cleanse and things like that, and to understand that they're not going crazy, that this is real, this is a bigger part of what's going on with humanity, okay? And we're gonna get through it a bit at a time. That's the whole reason why I do these readings. It's exactly why I'm sat here now. It's to help myself to integrate it and you guys to integrate it. It's exactly why I encourage you to speak to each other about it and to get in touch with me. Okay, okay, that's enough said about that for a minute. All paths lead on. Let's have a little look at that one in the book. I love this oracle set so much. Beautiful. It says, it is normal to look at the external world for answers and guidance. What's revolutionary is turning your gaze inward. You're being called to source your guidance from within, to study the terrain of your inner landscape, to develop a reliable relationship with your soul. The more time you spend connecting with your soul, the deeper the connection will become. The challenge for empaths is staying connected without cutting off from the world. The best way to do this is to develop a daily practice that helps you to keep checking in, to draw on the wisdom within, and let that be the authority in your life. If this card appears, you may be called to develop or switch up your spiritual practice, to get into the habit of tuning your gaze inward, getting centered for the day before consuming anything from the outside world. We talked about that last week, about how you start your day is important. To start from a feeling of at-homeness, and throughout each day to find simple ways to keep coming home. This doesn't mean switching off from the realities of today's world. We need as many conscious people as possible living with their eyes wide open. Rather, it's a call to start your day from a place of connectedness, grace and devotion. So when you go out into the world, when you let the world in, you do it from an unshakable state of being, a state where you draw your strength, authority and guidance from a place deep, deep within. So it's about inner authority and turning your gaze within and developing your intuition. How are you being called to turn your gaze within? That's coming home, okay? Coming home to yourself, coming home to your authentic self, coming home to your inner self, coming home to your inner self and realising that we're connected. Hello everyone, because we're all one, you know. As individual as we all are, we are all one. This is the thing. So that's how we're making this bridge. That's perfect, beautiful bridge. That's how we're bridging. Oh my God, there's all this stuff going on in the world that I can see where how it should be and where we've been going wrong, and there's all this conflict around it. And I'm awakening, and this is what we're trying to bring in, and this is what we're trying to integrate. How do I do that? Very, very slowly, very, very gently. By turning inward, by starting your day right. We talked about that quite extensively in the last reading. Might have been the last tarot reading or the last STARSEED reading. One of them, that came up quite strongly. Okay guys, I think you guys know what I'm getting at, yeah? I hope it's coming across. I hope you're enjoying it. Please smash the like button if you are. Let's do a little bit of tarot to clarify. What else came up? The void. Do you know what? I knew this one was coming up today because it flipped out earlier on when I was tidying up my dresser. It flipped out and I went, oh, hello, the void, yeah. hey, the void. Stop, embrace winter, great cosmic warmth. Well, that's what we're heading towards, isn't it? So it is a time of year of slowing down, autumn equinox. Nights are really drawing in. Won't be long where we'll be feeling like it's, you know, tea time and then it's dark and then in this part of the world, and it's very, very natural for us to, you know, be in the rhythm of nature and go with that rhythm and just embrace that slowing down of life and of nature and of the dark nights coming in. Okay, perfect time for practicing turning within. So let's see what's coming up to clarify the lovely little tarot. Oh, 1 second. we had him the other day? He was my tarot of the day the other day, exactly that one. Okay. Okay. Ace of Swords. Okay. So we've got Prince of Wands there. Now that came up in my tarot of the day. If you follow my tarot of the day on my Facebook page, tarot of the day, I think it was yesterday or the day before we had that one out, exactly that one. Okay. Lot of fiery energy. So this is where we're at. This is what's going on in the world, and there is a lot of fiery energy in the world. A bit too much fiery energy sometimes. It's not quite as balanced as that beautiful prince that we see there, because you do need a lot of balance. I mean, the lifting veil, right, so we're lifting the veil on all of the troubles in the world, and what needs to change and what cannot possibly stay anymore, which might come as a bit of a shock to other people, because it's the way we've always done things before, it's the kind of CRAP that we've always put up with before, or whatever it is, okay? And it certainly is. I just feel like a lot of people are going to come... Now, this is a completely different interpretation to what I gave you the other day, but this is how tarot reading works as far as I'm concerned, and it is very intuitive, and I'm just working with this basic image right now intuitively, and I'm just thinking this is how some people are going to react to that. Okay, full charge, a lion leading the way, ablaze, on fire, and they are just going to, so I want to say ram raid through, you know, the old paradigm, which yes, but also no, okay, because, and we talked about this a bit last week as well, we want to be careful that we're not meeting the energy of conflict that we're seeing around us and the old paradigm ways that we're trying to dissolve, okay, that we're here to dissolve, in fact, and that we are dissolving is probably a better way to say it, by coming in full guns blazing like this, okay. Yes, at the heart of it, it is this. It has to be this for it to burn through all of the dense energy. However, be very, very careful. What I want to say is just slow right down. It just feels like there's a lot of as long as you stay in balance, like this beautiful guy is here. The more I'm looking at him, the more beautiful he looks. Actually, it's almost yoga there. I mean, he's got one leg tucked under him. He looks very, very relaxed. He looks very, very comfortable in his body. And there's extreme control and balance there over all of that fire. And I suppose fire is another... it's another manifestation of light, isn't it, really? And that's how we're burning through the old paradigm, I want to say. That's how we're burning through that veil. That's how we're burning through that dense energy to bring in the new earth. By staying quite relaxed, very poised, very comfortable, and very, very balanced, because there's an awful lot of power he's wielding there. And the same goes for us. So the way you act, the words you use, the way you use your words, not to go over worrying about it. Worst thing we can do, best thing we can do is learn to go within, slow down, relax. As freaky as all of this stuff, awakening can surely be, and all of waking up and realising what's going on in the world surely is. Not going to solve any of it by getting upset, but by any of that energy. It's about trying to learn to relax, trying to learn to love yourself, and all of those sorts of things, and trying to look after yourself, okay, my darlings. Got the Ace of Swords coming up to support the blue flame. That is absolutely beautiful, and there's a lot of beautiful blue energy in that card actually as well. I do feel like that is a lot of blue flame energy the more I look at it. It's coming out of some beautiful blue sky. There's a sun behind, and there's a crown of light at the tip of the sword that's blue and yellow also. Reminds me of the colours associated with Mercury, which is obviously doing its retrograde at the minute. It did come up in the reverse as well, so maybe that's symbolic of that for us, right? So this is the time we're in right now, and this is what we're trying to integrate. That's working with us. So I want to say it's about, right, so we've got to allow this Mercury retrograde to work with us, not against us. okay? Again, let go of the fear and the stigma of, oh, the retrogrades. It's all stigma, it's all fear. It's like astrological propaganda. It's not to be feared, it's to be understood. And when we understand it, we can work with it instead of it working against us, okay? So this beautiful blue flame energy is in tangent with, I feel like this is the Mercury retrograde. It's certainly Mercury all over this card for me, this image for me today. And of course it's an air representative of air, the swords. So that would fit as well. It's about clarity, it's about focus. Right, it's about clarity and focus, the blue flame. The more we focus upon that blue flame is very, very comforting, I find. When we're feeling like, oh my God, it's really hard to keep a balance because so many things are still stuck in the old paradigm. There's so many shifts going on. There's so many things still up in the air. There's so many people around you that are nowhere near awake or whatever yet, or feels like that. Focus on that beautiful blue flame and ask your spirit guides and your guides to come closer, because they surely will at this time, all right? Understand that we're going through a massive activation and we're integrating a lot, okay? So more important than ever to hold that vision and hold that focus. And that's why we've been handed this beautiful sword in the reading today, is to show us that we are more than capable of holding the vision for what we're trying to create for New Earth. We're doing it. We're absolutely doing it. That's what I'm being told now. Is that's what's happening. So yeah, it's just like a reassurance, really, this reading. Knight of Discs, supporting all roads lead home. Now, Knight of Discs got a very, very slow energy. Okay, anyone who knows tarot at all or has ever tuned into my channel has heard me describing the Knight of Discs to you many, many times. Yes, he's a knight, so he's still moving and he's still taking action and he's still moving forward, as all the knights are. However, of all the 4 knights of the tarot, he is the slowest moving, and in fact he's so slow moving that sometimes when he signifies events in a tarot reading, for instance, you wonder if he's moving at all. And he is. He's moving very surely, actually. Very, very surely towards his goal. He always gets his goal, but it moves very, very slowly. Sometimes he'll be shown riding a work horse. So what's going on here? I mean, this horse it looks like he just wants to lie down. You know, a very lazy sort of looking horse. And that's what, this is how we're going to, so this has come up to clarify how we're going to integrate everything. Very, very slowly. Not your disc, but very surely, very grounded, by staying grounded as well. I'm getting this to come through very heavily in this reading. By staying grounded, by remembering to do our breathing exercises, to take some extra rest, to do any grounding exercises and share those with each other, to eat correctly. Sounds like simple things, and a lot of people get into spiritual life and they're like, well, that doesn't sound very spiritual, that doesn't, I don't know what they expected, you know, laser beams flying out my eyes or something, I don't know, you know what I'm saying. But those things, those very practical things, like taking care of your body, actually, and that you're eating right, and that you're staying hydrated, and that you're getting enough sleep, and that you're practicing grounding exercises and deep breathing and slowing down and not allowing yourself to get too up about anything, staying in focus, those things are super spiritual. Do not look down upon those small practices. They make you'll learn the hard way if you don't, let's put it like that. I don't think I think a lot of us watching this, most of the people watching this channel understand what I'm saying, and you've worked on your ego enough to understand that those things do make a difference and take that advice. So make sure you're sharing that advice with other people. I mean, you don't have to go back round the head with it and blowing their minds with all this information if they're not ready for it, yeah? You can simply observe and go, right, I see what they're going through. They might be getting really dramatic about world events. They might be getting really dramatic because they're having an awakening of some kind. And you can see that. But it's no good us going in and going, oh, I tell you what it is. It's the 5D reality. It's the stars. It's going to be too much for them, okay? What you're doing, you're just gently supporting them very slowly, very quietly, very gently by the way you live. Because people are looking at people, I guess, and they're going, how are you always smiling? How is your energy always like this? How do you look so young and stuff like that? And it's like, yeah, well, we're living on a different vibration, you know, and we're putting these things into practice, and it gives us a glow up. and other people see it, and other people wonder how we do it. And the way to encourage them to do it isn't to batter them around the head with lectures about it. And I've learned that the hard way. I have so learned that the hard way. I used to get so annoyed people couldn't understand what I'm telling them to do, because that's not how people learn. Literally, you've just got to let go of that and let people figure it out for themselves, and just keep doing you, keep doing you, keep doing you, and it rubs off on them. And then you'll find people turning around and saying to you, oh yeah, I feel loads better now, I'm doing XYZ differently. And you're thinking, I told them that 3 years ago or 5 years ago or something. It doesn't matter. Again, learn to let go of that. That's just ego. Something I learned a massive lesson in myself. I didn't even realise I was doing it, but I was doing that for a long time. I was like, oh, I told them that ages ago. Oh, and they're doing it now. And it doesn't matter. As long as they're doing it, as long as now they get it, this is how we ferment like good vibration and good energy, is just by doing it. It's not by worrying about what somebody else is doing or what they're not doing, or but they're not doing their spiritual practices. And if he was doing this a bit more, then you can't do anything about what anyone else is doing. You can only do something about what you're doing. It's something I've learned the hard way, and I know I can share it with you guys in quite a sassy way, because I know that you guys know how to take me and things. But it's something that I learned the hard way. It's like, it's pointless. Never mind that. Look at what you were doing, because you were never done. You were never right. Eventually it catches on. It ferments that good energy, I feel. It sort of grows like yeast or something, Just keep doing it. So that's what I've got for you, my loves. Let's have a look at this one, the void. The void. This is going to be all about slowing right down now. The void. Everything and nothing exists in the void. Wow. Everything and nothing. Okay. Now there is a swirl on there. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Everything and nothing exists in the void. It's the winter and the womb. The fertile darkness where all things originate and all seeds grow. Comforting and intimidating. Freeing and daunting. It can feel both overwhelmingly small and huge. The void is where faith lives. The message from the void is to surrender to the unknown, to allow the fertile darkness and nothingness to nourish the new seeds growing within you. Regardless of whether you know that they'll one day regardless of whether you know what they'll one day become. You're being called to surrender to the mystery of what's next, to rest and to allow the winter of your life to do the work for you, to hand over your control and trust that just because you can't see what's happening beneath the surface, it doesn't mean things aren't at work. Very Knight of Discs. The greatest weavings happen when we find a way to surrender and trust that our life is being knitted for us, right beneath the surface, in ways known and unknowable. Now is the time to cultivate faith and allow deep, deep rest. The void often surfaces at the end of a chapter or life phase, when we call to let go of what all we can know and identify with. When you're in the void, it can feel very scary and as if you should be doing something. However, when this card appears, it's a sure sign that the most productive thing to do is to relinquish control and surrender to the changing mystery of life. How are you being called to surrender to the unknown mystery of your life? That is absolutely spot on, and thank you so much, Spirit, for bringing that in for us for confirmation at the end. Because it's the end of the zodiacal lunar year, Pisces. Full moon is the end of the zodiacal lunar year. It's the winter of our, so it's time for that now. We've released all of that, all of the lessons of the year. We've shown gratitude for all of the lessons of the year. We've shown gratitude, nurturing for all of the growth of the year. And now it's just trust. Just trust that is all being processed. Just slow down, slow right down, slow down even more. Rest, take care of yourself, and do nothing else right. This is how we're going to integrate these experiences, and this is how we're going to open up to more of them and allow and guide other people to open up to more of it as well. I've loved this reading, and that is absolute perfect sense to me at the end. I hope this makes sense to you guys. To back up the Pisces full moon reading, the void in the Starseed Oracle, that's spot on as far as I can see. Let's do a moon ritual. I've decided these guys belong in this reading. So we've got the star and the moon. We've got the whole night sky in this reading. Okay. Mr. Milo's I don't know if you can hear him. He's getting quite excited with his bed just out of shot. He doesn't do things like that very often anymore, but yeah, he is right now. Hey, Mr. Milo. Sorry about this, guys. He's feeling the energy. What's going on? You need to do some deep breathing. He's looking at me. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come and say hello then. Oh, he's funny. Can you see his little tail wagging? Oh. Let's have a Halloween moon ritual to close the reading with, and let's show gratitude to Spirit for this reading once again. Star ancestors, nothing but gratitude, love, respect. Just one more card. It's a lot of heavy energy. Not surprised after a basics full moon. Please hit the like button. Please give me a subscribe if you haven't already. Please consider subscribing. It's very simple. What we got? The luminescence of the, it says the waxing moon, alright, but that's okay because we're still in a very fat moon, we're still under the influence of the full moon. The luminescence of the waxing moon inspires me to try something new. Now, I will say, do not start something new right now over the next week, but consider what you can bring new into your life. So while we're still in this resting period and this coming round very, very slowly period, okay, I will say, have a think about what new things you'd like to bring in, because it's the end of the zodiacal lunar year, okay, Pisces, so we'll be in a fresh new energy soon, okay, absolutely fresh new energy, and we'll be in lovely Libra season soon as well, and that'll be all about bringing balance in and everything. So don't start anything new. I wouldn't advise starting anything new until at least next week, or even the week after, to be honest with you, for a lot. Depends. You know, you use your own judgment as well, obviously, but you know, I have to be very general with this energy. Obviously, it's quite specifically different for some people than others. For some people, it might be fine to go ahead with different plans next week, and there's an overlap depending on your chart, is what I mean, and things like that. Okay, try not to worry about it too much, but just general advice. That's what I'm giving you. That's all I can give you in a general reading. Yeah. But certainly have a think. Now it's perfect because it's the end. So it's the end of the zodiacal lunar year, right? So just rest. Allow the universe to help you to integrate all of that, okay? And just start thinking about what new things, new seeds you'd like to plant, new growth you'd like to see, new things you'd like to actually start physically in the 3D even. Not, you know, what new things would you like to bring into the next lunar year? Okay, have a think about that, because we'll be in Aries soon, and that's all about like starting afresh, the fool's journey, stepping out boldly in a new direction, a new energy, and start again. Another round of the spiral, another round of expansion of your soul. So have a think in this level about what new things you might like to bring in. Okay, I love them. And like I said, don't overthink it. Don't rack yourself. I find that when you just relax and follow the advice and just really relax and slow down, it rises up in you anyway. Or Spirit shows you little signs, points you little signs to things that you've perhaps always wanted to integrate in your life, or try in your life, or see the growth of in your life. So it'll come up, it'll be there just in time for the Aries moon, I'm sure. Okay, my darlings. So, all that being said, I hope it makes sense. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please give me a like, please give me a share, please give me a subscribe if you haven't already. You won't be asked for money from me or from YouTube. It's a very simple procedure, and you can unsubscribe at any time. Hit the notification bell if you want to keep in touch with when the next video is. Please leave me comments in the box below. I absolutely love to hear from you. Please get in touch with me for personal readings via my email that I'll leave you in the box below, and take care of your beautiful selves. Thank you so much once again, from the bottom of my heart, all the love and all the light.